Tonight on Cougar News, we give you a look ahead at the 2016 primary election.
Plus, we show you an unusual way to fundraise for cancer.
Also, we'll take a look back at all of Santa Clarita sports. Cougar News starts now.
This is Cougar News.
Hello and welcome to Cougar News. I'm Aldo Canepa.
And I'm Heather Harbin. Here's tonight's top stories.
1 year ago, Paul Walker and friend Roger Rodas were involved in a tragic accident here in Santa Clarita. Hundreds of fans gathered at the Rye Canyon Loop on Sunday to honor the loss of Paul Walker and Roger Rodas. It was 1 year ago on November 30th when the two friends were involved in a high-speed car crash in which they both lost their lives. Paul Walker, 40, and Roger Rodas, 38, were leaving a charity event in Santa Clarita when Rodas crashed his Porsche Carrera in the 2800 section of Rye Canyon. The two were killed instantly. SCV Sheriff set up an area for fans to gather and pay their respects to the fallen actor.
The Obama administration announced Tuesday that it's made tremendous progress in the fight against Ebola since the first U.S. case hit Dallas approximately 2 months ago. Now 42 labs in 3 dozen states can test for Ebola, compared to 13 labs in 13 states back in August. But the real question, is Santa Clarita prepared to handle Ebola? Alyssa Dickert has the answer.
With over 5,000 deaths in West Africa due to Ebola, are we prepared? Terry Stone, emergency manager and safety officer at Henry Mayo Hospital, tell us how they are complying with CDC guidelines.
What we're doing that I think stands us out is we're kind of ahead of the curve. As soon as that first case happened in Texas, we jumped on board and did the risk assessment, did the gap analysis. We actually had identified the PPE that is currently being recommended by Cal OSHA, which is above what CDC had been recommending for months.
Henry Mayo has also been undergoing routine training and has improved from each one.
2 weeks ago, I think it was on the 10th, and our CEO was the patient. So yeah, that was fabulous of him to volunteer. And we learned a lot about how we can improve our processes even more.
Antonio Madletto, disaster planner at the hospital, leads the training process for the staff.
And we look at the overall safety security of the organization.
The PPE, or personal protective equipment, has many intricate layers. Staff are issued a pair of scrubs and water-resistant shoes, then the layers add on from there. Gloves, a walkie-talkie,
Can you hear me? Perfect.
purifying air helmet, a hazmat suit with booties, tape to seal everything up, and a surgeon gown to complete the outfit. Since the virus is spread through transportation of fluids, it is important every inch is protected.
The process of putting the suit on takes about 20 to 30 minutes, whereas taking the suit off takes about 30 to 45 minutes.
Taking off the PPE is just as complex. A bleach is used to rinse off every inch of your body before removing a layer. A hand sanitizer is also used to clean off each layer of gloves before removing. All the contaminated gear is then put in a biohazard bag. For more on the process, go to cougarnews.com. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Alyssa Dickert.
The 2016 presidential election may seem a little far off, but it will soon be upon us as the primary candidates step forward for next year. So far, many names have come forward as potential candidates like Hillary Clinton, who is the current frontrunner for the Democrats, polling 50 points above her competition. The Republicans, however, are not as solid in competing numbers, much like early 2012. Elections, many polling places have former Florida Governor Jeb Bush in the lead, while others have current New Jersey Governor Chris Christie ahead in the polls despite constant controversy from his office. Details on who will all be running for office will come early next year, and we will keep you up to date as it continues.
The Santa Clarita Performing Arts Center recently hosted a scholarly presentation on bias in the media. Joseph Garcia has more.
At 6 o'clock on Thursday, November 20th, guests filled Santa Clarita's Performing Arts Center to listen to COCU's very own Phil Guston give a lecture on media bias. In his presentation, which is based on the results of an innovative experiment he designed with Dr. Matthew Baum, professor of global communications and public policy at Harvard University, Gussen's lecture challenged some common misconceptions about media bias and highlighted some of the challenges scholars face when trying to assess its prevalence and direction.
The main point of the lecture was to get people to think about their own, the extent to which their own views and their own prior beliefs affect whether they see bias or not. And the idea was to suggest to people that sometimes the bias that they're seeing in the news isn't really in the news. It's actually their own views being reflected back at them.
Afterwards, Phil was awarded the Scholarly Presentation Award by Joe McGregor. In all, the presentation was intellectually captivating and enlightened many about how they view media and media bias.
In all, my opinion on the bias in the media changed a little bit because I always had the same sort of idea that the bias in the media existed, but I didn't know exactly how to pinpoint it. And Phil's presentation sort of gave me an idea of how to actually pinpoint where the bias is coming from and actually how the bias interprets the facts that are being presented to me through the news.
My opinion changed ever so slightly.
Sometimes we see things that we want to see, and we need to see what they're really trying to say. And I think it really changed.
For Cougar News, I am Joseph Garcia.
From everything from the recent rain we've been having to the immigration lawsuits, our own Alexis Sonner has more.
What do you have for us, Alexis?
Southern California exceeded rainfall records set in 1961 during the past 2 days. The much-needed 2-day storm dropped over 1.5 inches of rain all over downtown Los Angeles. Areas of Long Beach, Lancaster, and Palmdale reportedly saw a good amount of rain as well. Outside of California, Governor-elect Greg Abbott of Texas will be leading a coalition in a lawsuit against the Obama administration. The lawsuit is in response to President Obama's executive actions regarding immigration. Abbott stated that the executive actions were unconstitutional and that the president should be required to go through Congress. Christmas is right around the corner, and you may be scrambling to find the perfect gifts for your friends and family. Thankfully, Amazon has compiled a list of the most gifted items of the season. They update the list daily, and some of the most coveted items this year include Cards Against Humanity, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and Taylor Swift's latest album, 1989. Speaking of Taylor Swift, the pop star's album has been pretty popular among listeners, but it looks like British artist Ed Sheeran's latest album is Spotify's most played album of the year. Probably could have been Swift's latest album, but she and Spotify have some bad blood. Sheeran also has been recognized as Spotify's most streamed artist of the year, with fans earning him over 860 million listens from all over the world. And that's what's trending. I'm Alexis Sonner. For more stories in and around the Santa Clarita Valley, you can check us out at cougarnews.com. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Alexis. Earlier this month, Stan Lee's Kamikaze Expo took place at the Los Angeles Convention Center. It's LA's first and only large-scale multimedia pop culture convention. Cougar News reporter Taylor Villanueva has a closer look.
Comic book creator Stan Lee hosted his 4th annual Kamikaze Expo, bringing fans and celebrities together for a weekend of events.
I love this. It's kind of cool. You don't get, when you do television, very rarely get to see the people who are watching television. Now I'm watching the people who are watching the television. So it's cool.
I'm used to being anonymous,
Yeah.
And now, people know who does the voice of Batman, which is just amazing to me. But I love coming to the cons to meet the fans because you hear some amazing stories.
The fact that you guys are now adults as compared to kids, the voice is completely different. You know what I mean? Like, when you guys were kids, you were shy and kind of like, hi, Mr. Ranger, kind of thing. And now you're like, yo, man, what's up? And it's interesting to hear the stories.
Celebrities weren't the only attraction at the expo. Thousands of fans came to admire and show off handmade costumes.
I am dressed as Mystique from X-Men.
I am dressed as Hawk Girl.
I am Azazel.
I am cosplaying Notebook from the YouTube video Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
I'm dressed as Alice in Wonderland.
It's all actually handmade prosthetics from the EI School of Design. All of the students put it together. They've been working on it for about 3 weeks now. And then the application, first the prosthetics, and then the paint, and everything else that goes along with it. It's quite the process.
Oh my God, these wings. You don't even know about these wings.
This one took me from 1:30 this morning until about 9 this morning. Then I took about a 2-hour nap and got here.
This is the 4th annual Kamikaze Expo, and with the biggest turnout yet, it has proven to be the greatest one so far. For Cougar News, I'm Taylor Villanueva.
It is the most anticipated shopping day of the year. Consumers line up for days before in an attempt to get the best deals around. Brandon Iriarte tells us how Black Friday went this year for Santa Clarita shoppers.
With millions of consumers fighting over heavily discounted merchandise, Black Friday is nothing short of a holiday for several people. Even with the rising popularity, however, sales were actually down 11% from last year, according to the National Retail Federation. But the outpouring here at this local Best Buy would beg to differ. Hundreds of shoppers waited in line for Best Buy's Black Friday sales, except that Best Buy opened on Thanksgiving Day instead, as early in fact as 5 p.m., making it difficult for both workers and shoppers to enjoy their Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, I think if you're in the industry and you're just used to it. As a customer, okay. Black Friday's good.
Some shoppers like the idea of stores opening earlier on Black Friday. Other shoppers, however, don't feel the same.
They should stop opening on Thanksgiving and open for Black Friday the next day. Because I think it's not good that they're taking people away from family time and Thanksgiving together.
Regardless, Black Friday continues to be a major success as consumers were quick to purchase what they've been waiting to buy. With stores opening earlier and earlier for Black Friday, some consumers have made compromises with their family, finding a suitable time for Thanksgiving dinner.
My family's made it so, okay, well maybe we'll celebrate Thanksgiving Day earlier. That's what we did.
Well, we actually haven't had dinner yet. We're going out this year to dinner, but we just had time to kill, so we decided to come over here because the line wasn't too bad.
For Cougar News, I'm Brandon Iriarte.
With the holiday season in full swing, many have already started decorating their homes. Alexis Sonner took a closer look at one of the most popular decorations around.
The holiday season has many traditions, and one of the most beloved is the Christmas tree. Cougar News visited a few local farms and stopped by Frosty's Forest to get a special look at one of the most famous symbols of Christmas.
So these are the Nordman trees here at Frosty's Forest. It comes in 3 different classes of trees. The Nordman is in our higher class tree, where it has a nice silver and white bottom with a nice green top. More of a tree that actually retains water more than dries out, so it'll last twice as long. Douglas firs is more of your really fragrant, piney tree, gives off a lot of scent. Really rich green, kind of a fluffier cloud type tree. Our custom orders are 16 to 17 foot nobles, which are the most beautiful, biggest nobles you can possibly get that come out of Oregon. The noble fir is just the most beautiful tree you could possibly have as far as it comes down its looks. One of the nicest, one of the biggest, there's really nothing better.
Though many choose to decorate their homes with artificial trees bought from retailers, some say you just can't beat the experience of picking out a live tree.
I like a real tree better, just for one, for the scent, the festivities of the tree, of you coming to get the tree. It's a family experience when you come out and see us. You can bring your kids, you can bring your dogs. It ends up being like a tradition when it comes to buying a live tree.
For Cougar News, I'm Alexis Sonner.
Coming up on Cougar News, we'll take a look at some campus services that help students cope with mental health issues.
Plus, we'll show you how Cougar News is bringing environmental awareness out into the open. Stay tuned.
Are you still looking for your school? College of the Canyons is located on scenic rolling hills with competitive programs such as new media journalism, state-of-the-art sports facilities, and a culinary arts program that will be opening their brand new building with 3 state-of-the-art test kitchens. At only $46 a unit, you will discover that COC is the community college for you. Find out more at www.canyons.edu.
I'm Richard Horvitz.
I'm Tara Strong.
I'm Michael C. Morona.
And I'm Danny Tamarelli.
Hi, this is Ming Chen.
This is Mike Zapsik.
Hi, it's Louis Anderson.
I'm Weird Al.
I'm Florence Henderson.
I'm the Grinch.
And you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you're watching. You're watching.
And you're watching.
And you lucky people are watching.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
You're watching Cougar News.
So this is for the older ladies.
And I'm a cougar.
Now, Felisa Cárdenas gives us a closer look at a problem among college students and where students can go for help.
From local tragedy to the loss of a Hollywood great, suicide has proven that it really doesn't discriminate. The second most affected demographic is college students.
In the United States of America in the last year, there was 1,100 students that took their life that are college students. And at the College of the Canyons, there was actually 3 students that took their own life. And so our statistics are pretty high compared to other colleges.
Unfortunately, none of those students came to the Student Health and Wellness Center for help or counseling.
What we take from that is that students either don't know about the counseling center or there's a stigma to getting counseling.
What many students don't know is that by paying your student health fee, you receive 6 free counseling sessions and more if needed.
It's okay to ask for help. We're here for students here at College of the Canyons, or your friends, or your students.
Although the Health and Wellness Center has outreach events with suicide prevention for teachers and staff, they also offer mental health first aid certification, as well as online suicide prevention trainings for students. There are signs you can look for and tools you can use to help those you love. Few signs that someone you care for may be considering suicide include feeling of hopelessness, feeling major distress, withdrawing, starting to give their things away, and increasing their alcohol intake. There's one tool Gail and Jerry believe can help save lives, and it fits in your phone.
In addition to the services we have here, we also know that, there are going to be times when you're not available or you're alone or it's after hours or you're just talking to a friend and you need a tool, something to get somebody who's contemplating suicide or having suicidal thoughts connected with help. And so we recommend that every student, every staff, every faculty member put the National Suicide Hotline number in their phone. And that number is 1-800-273-8255 or TALK.
Remember, if someone you care for is having suicidal thoughts, listen non-judgmentally and remind them there's always a silver lining.
You can recover from this. There is hope. There is people that love you, that care about you.
What we're finding is if somebody is communicating about it, if somebody has a hope, then the chance of them completing suicide or going through it are lessened. Talking them through the crisis, that eventually the crisis passes and you have then saved their life. It's temporary. The whole thing is, recovery and to instill hope.
For Cougar News, Felisa Cárdenas.
For more information and resources, be sure to visit cougarnews.com.
One weekend a month, Old Orchard Park hosts a fine craft show showcasing handmade crafts from individuals in our community. Cougar News reporter Nikki Yanover has more.
One weekend a month, Old Orchard Park hosts a fine craft show on Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5 p.m. Open to the community, this free event is perfect for people looking for gifts for the holiday season.
I sell crosses, glass blocks, wine decanters all made into lights. I have custom jewelry and picture frames and that. And texting gloves is one of my number one things that I sell for this Christmas season. I actually have a workshop in my garage, and I hand drill each block or each decanter. And then I have an assortment of trims and different things, and I sit down and I create them and put them together, and then I add lights to them, and they're fantastic. People love them.
The Fine Craft Show allows vendors from Santa Clarita to showcase many of their homemade products as they reveal the process of making what they love.
What I do is I do pictures in wood with the scroll saw, as you can see probably behind me. I've been scrolling for probably about 32 years, so it's fun, and I do about 10 craft fairs a year. I drill holes everywhere I'm going to cut something out, then I thread the blade of the saw through the hole, cut that out, and keep moving around so I get everything cut out. When I'm done, I pretty much have a picture in wood. Some of them I can do in 2 or 3 hours. Some of them will take 8, 10, 12 hours. Depending on what it is, I'll cut for a while and I have to literally stop.
For Cougar News, I'm Nikki Hanover.
A local tattoo shop is taking a different approach on the fight against cancer. Chantel Del Aguila has more.
Eternal Art Tattoo hosted its second annual Tattoos Cure Cancer event, aimed at finding a cure and helping people win the battle against cancer.
My father passed away in 2004 from lung cancer,
and I actually saw a T-shirt in a dream that said "Tattoos Cure Cancer" on it, and was like, wow, I got to do something with that.
My grandfather lost his battle with cancer a few years ago, about 3 years ago. So this is kind of just to honor him. And we did it alongside his portrait from when he served in the Korean War as well. So it's going to kind of be a piece that we're going to work into. So I thought it was just a good way to kind of honor him.
Tattoos range from $50 to $100, like the one I'm getting right now, and proceeds go to benefit a specific charity.
All the money that we raise goes to charity. Nobody gets paid for this. All the artists that are here, I believe we have 13 today, donate their time. All of the product is donated, like the inks, the needles, the everything that we use is donated. Last year we raised $10,500 and donated it to the Children's Hospital of LA. It's all about really not raising awareness about cancer, because everybody knows cancer exists, everybody's affected by it, but it's more about creating something where we can support a family that's going through, their battle with cancer.
For Cougar News, I'm Chantel Del Aguila.
There's a movement afoot to help the nation get healthier, and as our reporter Austin Westfall explains, one resident is taking the initiative to heart.
Jeff Nelson is in charge of the Healthy Lifestyle Expo and VegSource.com. Jeff and his wife Sabrina were already vegetarian, but decided to go full vegan when she came down with an illness.
About 20 years ago, Sabrina, my wife, was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease called relapsing polychondritis, where your immune system attacks the cartilage. It started in your ears. And the prognosis for someone with this disease is like 40% of people are dead within 10 years.
For a year, Sabrina dealt with the disease by taking harmful drugs with horrible side effects. This was until she read a book that explained how diet can sometimes reverse or arrest an autoimmune disease of this type.
Sabrina said, you know what, I want to try this 100% plant-based vegan diet. We didn't really even know what it was exactly. So we did, and in the following 3 months when she went back to see her rheumatologist, each time her numbers were all normal. For the first time in a year, she had no more flare-ups, and after the third month, the rheumatologist said, hey, you're in remission, and your cholesterol is excellent, your diet strategy is working.
After seeing the success of eating a vegan diet, Jeff and Sabrina wanted to tell people about their experience.
So after Sabrina put her autoimmune disease into remission through a plant-based diet, we went on the internet, which was pretty young, 1996. And we were looking around, and really there wasn't that much information or communities around plant-based eating. So we decided to make our own site. It was just sort of our form of kitchen activism. Here's what happened to us. It was a big benefit. Maybe it could help you.
But Jeff and Sabrina didn't stop at VegSource.com. They also created the Healthy Lifestyle Expo, which takes place at the Valencia Hyatt. But Jeff says that all the success isn't what keeps him going.
What really makes it worthwhile for me is meeting people who somehow, we've touched. I can't really take credit because I didn't invent this, but it's really cool to see other people who've gotten rid of their disease and are healthy again because of something that we, shared on the internet.
For your Cougar News Spotlight, I'm Austin Westfall.
You no longer need Doc Brown's DeLorean or Bill and Ted's excellent phone booth to travel back in time. Cougar News reporter Enzo Marino shows us how the Valley Relics Museum in Chatsworth is bringing the past to life.
San Fernando Valley Relics is a time capsule. Nostalgia awaits visitors at every turn, and memories long ago forgotten come rushing back with each display case. Inside, visitors will find everything from an 1898 stock certificate for the Lancashire Deciduous Fruit Growers Association to a huge collection of classic BMXs, some worth thousands of dollars. Even old Hollywood memorabilia, including a gold suit worn by none other than the king himself, Elvis Presley. I sat down with Valley Relics founder and curator Tommy Gelinas. His mission and the mission of Valley Relics is simple.
To preserve the Valley's past and cherish what's left. We defended the United States by some of the most powerful World War II planes were made here in the Valley. A lot of movies. There's just so much that the Valley Relics Museum, we're here to tell that story.
When I asked Tommy his favorite artifact in the museum, he had trouble choosing just one.
Every artifact here definitely has a story. you know, the Palomino is a really huge deal for us. The Nudie Cone exhibit, having 2 of his cars, his personal outfits, the White Horse Inn sign, the Tiffany Theater sign, the Bob's Big Boy sign, all that stuff really tells a story, and they're all really, really important.
So if you'd like to take a trip back into time, no need for a DeLorean or a phone booth. Just come down to the Valley Relics Museum in Chatsworth. It's open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays. For Cougar News, I'm Enzo Marino.
It's time to take out your winter gear because the rain has arrived. Abby Gutierrez tells us how to stay trendy while trying to keep warm this winter season.
With rain approaching this winter season, it may be a little hard to stay warm and fashionable at the same time. So I went around COC and asked some students how they managed to stay warm but still fashionable for the rain.
Most definitely. You have to have a mix of what looks good and what's comfortable and is good for the weather. You have to have a mix, I feel like, of something fashionable and something that's kind of, I mean, for colder weather, more frumpy, I think. You need to have something that if you take off your jacket, you're going to feel like you look good in, but you need to also have something that's going to keep you warm.
This winter season, long coats are going to be really popular. As for footwear, thigh-high boots, heeled, and platform booties will be very much in style.
I put in less thought because I feel like the more layers you put on, you kind of look good anyway, so you kind of just keep stacking them on.
As for men, hoodies, coats, beanies, and low-cut boots will be huge in the fashion industry for this winter.
That is my #1 priority usually. I gotta look good while staying warm, you know, and also comfortable with myself. That's why this hoodie right here is actually pretty old. I've had it for maybe a couple of years, but it doesn't look old. I mean, I'm sorry, I just burnt myself out a little bit.
And remember, no matter what season it is, your outfit can always be resourceful and fashionable. For Cougar News, I am Abby Gutierrez.
Now we have the latest entertainment news with Chantel Del Aguila.
What do you have for us, Chantel?
The holidays are right around the corner, and the Valencia Mall partnered up with Combat Radio and Pay It Forward to host a benefit concert and bring Santa Clarita their first outdoor ice rink. Former Miss Mexico, Sitara Katibi, talks to us about her ambitions of being a star and never giving up on her dreams. And are you as big a fan of The Voice as I am? City Walk began its lighting of the tree ceremony with appearances by celebrity judges and finalists of this season. Plus, we have the details of new releases coming to a theater near you. I'm Chantel Del Aguila, and here's the latest in entertainment. The Valencia Mall has opened up their own ice rink this holiday season and introduced a benefit concert for social services. I took a look at the festivities and tried out the rink myself. It's the busiest time of year for the Valencia Mall, and it's even busier now with the first ever outdoor ice rink.
We are elated not only to be able to offer this as part of Westfield Valencia Town Center's wonderful holiday program, but also is something that our community can really embrace and get involved in over the holiday season.
With music, prizes, raffles, and ice skating, the Valencia Town Center has brought family and friends together to celebrate the holidays. A local dance group performed ensembles for families as they gathered around to enjoy the festivities. Later that evening, Combat Radio held a benefit concert to raise money for social services and homeless children.
All the proceeds go to the same place, which is Lutheran Social Services, which was based on Victory and Tyrone. It burned down. It's now moved to Canoga Park, and it's got an office out here on Soledad. So it all goes to Lutheran Social Services.
Families danced and sang along to performances of Oingo Boingo and others, helping raise money for a great cause. For Cougar News, I'm Chantel Del Aguila. Our own Ariel Thompson got to take a look at what Sitara Katibi is doing now. Let's check it out.
Remember the way the spotlight felt, and just like it felt like home, you know, and it was like so quiet and just, I don't know, I just knew in my heart then and there that this is what I want to do. I want to be on stage.
Lugar es para el número 28.
It's like you can't give yourself the option, as we discussed before, you can't give the option of failure. It's just you succeed or you succeed, the end. I was kicked off on one of the reality shows I had auditioned for it was a pageant / talent. and they kicked me off, and they kicked me off so hard. They said such mean things, and it took me a while to get over it because I still hadn't evolved at a point where I could take the criticism constructively and let go and melt off the ones I didn't agree with. You know, because again, you can't please everybody. I still get nervous, but I think the day I don't get nervous is probably a day to be nervous, because it'll be like, what? Why am I not? Those tingles, that adrenaline rush that you get once you step foot on that stage and the light's on you and, you know, things go silent, it's all up to you to create the show. In my world, it just becomes like, it's just heaven. It's like peace. That was a huge moment for me because my family was all there, and usually when I have pageants, I'm always traveling, you know, so it'd be one person would be there, someone was not, someone's watching, you know, and so this time everybody was there, and what's so funny is they announced it incorrectly. They announced me as first runner-up, and then as the host of the show is like, oh my gosh, there's been a mistake.
Oh my god.
And he's like, sorry, Sitara, you're not first runner-up. They removed the sash and the crown off of me as first runner-up. And everyone's like, oh, well then you knew you were gonna win. And I said, no, I thought maybe I didn't win anything. My motto has always been, live today as though you already have it. You wanna be a host? Turn on the laptop, start a freaking blog on YouTube. I'm serious. You gotta live as though you are. You wanna be a singer? Grab a mic, you know, constantly be warming up, be looking for gigs around your town, be part of the choir, get to know a lot of people, because who you know really is important. Developing a community, a network of people, because they're going to be the ones who lift you up and open doors for you. You know, it's the more people you know and get to know well on a personal level, the better.
City Walk has something special for the holidays. Ariel Thompson brings us more.
The holidays are here, and it's taking over Universal City as fans and celebrities gathered for the annual tree lighting ceremony.
Give it up for Adam Levine and Blake Shelton, everybody. Universal City Walk, 5 towers. They probably have trees in Oklahoma. Oh my God, is this happening tonight?
Universal City Walk brought over the top 10 finalists from The Voice to light the Christmas tree and kick off the holiday season.
1, 2, come on everybody, 3!
The tree and decorations will be up now through Christmas. For Cougar News, I'm Ariel Thompson.
Winter break is beginning soon, and what better way to spend it than cuddled up at the movies with fresh popcorn? This season will have 2 features that everyone has been buzzing about. 50 Shades of Grey is the first installment of the Shades trilogy, which starts out when a young business magnate, Christian Grey, is introduced to a 21-year-old college senior, Anastasia Steele. Anna, who is instantly attracted to Grey, forms a relationship unlike any other. The film is reported to have several provocative scenes in order to capture the essence of the novel. 50 Shades of Grey releases February 2015. And if you've missed those a cappella ensembles, don't worry, the Barden Bells are back again in Pitch Perfect 2. The females are back at it with their striking vocals, and this time they're competing in a competition that no American vocal group has ever won before. Do you think they have what it takes? We'll just have to wait and see when it hits theaters this May. And that's the latest for entertainment. I'm your host, Chantal Del Aguila. You can check us out on cougarnews.com for more stories and updates.
What does a truck, fashion, and the beach have in common? A lot more than you would think. Cougar News reporter Alyssa Dickert took a look inside the rolling boutique Waves of Attire. Let's take a look.
If you're looking for an endless summer, look no further than the Waves of Attire Rolling Boutique. Bring the beach wherever you go with the effortless bohemian styles this truck has to offer. Katie Scala, the mastermind behind this beach chic boutique, was Southern California raised and has always had a love for fashion.
So my style is very beachy, and I've always loved the effortlessness beachy girls have, and just throwing on a sundress and keeping things really simple. So it instantly drew me into it.
So your whole shop is set up beach themed?
Yes, very beachy. We have seashells and mermaid shirts and easygoing sundresses.
Can I try on some clothes? Will you pick out a cute outfit for me? I want to be a Waves babe.
Oh my gosh, of course you can.
All right, let's go. Okay, so out of this truck, what would be like the top 3 things that Waves of Attire must have?
Okay, so the Waves of Attire, we also call them a Waves babe. She definitely needs an easygoing maxi, so we love this one.
Oh, that's
it has
so
2
cute.
slits in the front, so it's kind of breezy and airy. The back is a little bit of a low cut, but it's great. We love this dress. We are obsessed with easygoing kimonos.
I am obsessed with kimonos.
So, yeah. So anything just kind of flowy, and they're easy to match with anything, which is great, like a last minute just add on to any outfit. This bohemian dress is amazing. It's just effortless. So if you just pair it with a sandal, a bootie, you can do from spring, summer. It's really cross-seasonal, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's super cute.
And don't forget to accessorize with super cute necklaces, rings, and clutches. This is your one-stop shop. And the best part about it, it can travel to you.
Well, I had an awesome time today checking out Katie's boutique. Be sure to check them out on Instagram at Waves of Attire to find out when they'll be rolling into a town near you. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Alyssa Dickert.
After so long, we finally have rain, and locals have some mixed feelings about it. Richard Gutierrez takes us in for a closer look.
It's almost as though we are witnessing a holiday miracle. After a long year of heat and drought, to where our very own Castaic Lake was drying out, we finally have rain, and many people are excited.
I definitely prefer the sun just because I am, I need warmth in me, but I mean, rain is a nice change, so.
Rain's pretty awesome. We don't get any of that here, and rain is cool. I mean, it's kind of scary while driving, but it gets your free car wash. You don't really need to, well, I guess you got to worry about like dirt and stuff, and it gets really cold. So that part kind of sucks. But yeah, the rain's pretty cool, especially because we're in a drought, and everyone's like freaking out about that. This really helps, and it's apparently going to go on for about a week or so. And it was like all of a sudden, it was like really hot, like maybe 4 days ago, and then all of a sudden it's raining. California, am I right?
Yeah, I love it. It feels more like the holiday season. It brings brings a lot of people out and about, and a lot of precautions need to be taken. But I'm excited. We need it here, definitely. We've been without it for a while, so it's good to have it. Of course, especially since it's the first rain, almost one of the first rains of the year. The roads are still slick from all the oil, and it brings up that, so it's really dangerous, especially for those not used to driving in the rain, things like that. It's definitely a hazard. Precautions definitely are keeping a greater following distance behind cars, making sure I brake a lot sooner, give myself a lot more braking time, just definitely driving a little bit slower. Yeah, that's definitely, on the freeway going 20, that can be a hazard in itself. So, definitely, learning your safety area is good, but, driving too slow or, jerking the wheels, things like that, that's when it's going to cause, danger, and being over precautious can be harmful to you too.
Now that the rain is officially here, it really feels like the holiday season. But remember, stay safe and only come out when necessary. For Cougar News, I'm Richard Gutierrez.
Lindsay Maxitopoulos and Ashley Pagan have gathered important information about local events that affect us day to day. Off to you guys.
Thank you, Heather. I'm Ashley Pagan.
And I'm Lindsay Maxitopoulos. Welcome to this week's environmental segment. There is a lot going on recently due to these climate changing times, but there's a reason to stay optimistic. On Monday, over 190 nations gathered in Lima, Peru to talk about a serious worldwide matter, the irreversible damage caused by greenhouse gases.
Organized by the United Nations, the meeting aims to come to an agreement by December of 2015, when the world Leaders will soon meet in Paris.
Rohinja Pakari, leader of the UN's panel of climate change experts, told delegates human influence on the climate is clear.
Scientists are coming together and warning that there's no way that we have a chance to reverse the warming trend by continuing business as usual and taking this matter lightly.
So, what would changing business be like? That would require a sustained and permanent worldwide shift from fossil fuel to renewable energy sources. The technologies are available now, and all we need is a call for an immediate lifestyle transition.
Electric cars and solar panels contribute greatly in reducing individuals' carbon footprint. With that being said,
Ashley and I had the chance to sit down with a Santa Clarita resident and pioneer of the clean energy lifestyle, Robert Williams.
The Tesla is a wonderful car, 85,000 watts, which is significant because you can go places. It's got a range of 265 miles. Tesla has charging stations coast to coast, so you can go coast to coast and recharge in what they call their superstations. And the significance of the superstation is it takes 45 minutes to recharge. And you think, well, you know, what am I going to do? Sit there for 45 minutes? But it really hasn't worked out that way. It's an adventure. They're always located by either shopping centers or someplace interesting. And after driving 260 miles, you know, you're ready to get out and rest a little bit. Nice restaurants and so forth. It's worked out great.
So, if you're like myself and you want to be run by the sun, but a Tesla's not exactly in your price range, you'll be happy to hear that Tesla's proposed power plant will decrease the cost of production dramatically in the near future.
Since we bought that car, we put in a solar system in our home here. And we are what's called net zero. That's a technical term for saying that those panels produce exactly the amount of power that we consume. So our energy bill is nothing, 85 cents a month is what our electric bill is. And that includes charging the car. So essentially that car runs on the sun, so we don't buy gas.
For Cougar News, I'm Lindsay Maxitopoulos.
over the last 100 years, Santa Clarita has developed into the urban sprawl that it is today. From empty fields and plains, tall buildings now take the space. But what about biodiversity and the natural landmarks that are lost? Farah Sudani gives us an update on open land space that remains here in Santa Clarita.
Along with rising energy demands and a growing population, land conservation is a dire issue threatening our future today. The city of Santa Clarita has shaped up from nothing but plains and fields to clusters of malls and family residences in less than 100 years. Although the development of Santa Clarita has come at a rapid growth, the city has taken steps to promote the conservation of open land. Excluding the recent 400 acres the city has put aside as open space preserves, Old Glory is a natural landmark that has been protected from planned development. Old Glory holds the Guinness World Record for largest tree transplanted at 458 tons.
Over by the 126, they have a new housing plan to make a bunch of houses over there. But I love that drive because it's scenic and you see, the grass is so green. There's cows, there's all sorts of animals, and it's nice. You get away from the freeway, you get away from all the congestion of LA, and you just get to drive up the coast, and it's nice. But if you put all these houses up there, then it's going to become more congested and traffic-y, and it's not good. So for land purposes, I like having that open and available without all the houses and communities. And we have enough houses in Santa Clarita.
For Cougar News, I'm Farah Sudani.
What the frack? We're going to bring up a very sensitive topic, fracking.
Lindsay and I attended the Future Fracking in Ojai, Chautauqua that covered all aspects of fracking with no political agenda.
Shocked that people actually want to show up and learn about hydraulic fracturing. So this is testament to your curiosity too. So I think it's great, and frankly, the fact that people are excited and want to talk about energy for an energy lawyer like me is just totally exciting, because normally you'd all be asleep in 5 minutes.
A geologist named Craig Nicholson found a study on the risks of oil field waste injection at UCSB.
California, where the largest number of wells associated with fracking and waste disposal occur, and the rate of earthquake activity in California, since about that time, the rate of earthquake activity has diminished since about 2001.
And Nicholson believes fracking doesn't have an effect on the earthquake status. Many still oppose this. The oil industry has been untrustworthy because of the little amount of statistics and facts up to date.
Coming from politics, Henry Stern has first-hand experience working with regulators and the regulations of fracking. He explained that the oil regulators have said that fracking is not a permeable event.
Basically, about 90% of the oil drilling in this county happens without any discretionary review. And what that means is that laws such as the California Environmental Quality Act kick in. There's no public transparency. The public doesn't know beforehand where this is happening.
You're right. And also, waste management soon turns into water management.
Surprisingly enough, elected officials don't know what is occurring. The only information is coming from oil agencies, which already are mistrusted. Although Quast claims they are becoming more transparent. 1/4 of wells are fracking.
This leads us to the expense of $400 billion used towards fracking. Crazy to think about, isn't it? And wells are using an estimated 4.4 million gallons per single well. I thought we were in a drought.
At least our valley got some rain this week.
That's good for Mother Earth, and here are some other ways to take care of the planet.
A rewarding way that you can give back is to be conscious of your containers and cans.
Not only can you make a few bucks off recycling, you can also contribute greatly to energy reduction.
Tossing away an aluminum can wastes as much energy as pouring out half of that can's volume of gasoline.
But did you know that recycling just one aluminum can saves enough energy to run your television for 3 hours? Even the simplest actions can help drastically.
Also, you'll be surprised that it takes 24 trees to make just 1 ton of non-recycled paper. That's a lot of precious oxygen that could be benefiting our atmosphere.
Thanks, guys. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Ashley. Still to come on Cougar News, we'll see how the holidays have taken over Santa Clarita.
Plus, we'll bring in Matt Robinson for all the local sports. Stay tuned.
Hey, this is T-Boz at TLC.
This is Batman.
I'm Michael C. Morona.
And I'm Danny Tamarelli.
Hi, this is Ming Chen.
This is Mike Zapsik.
Hi, it's Louis Anderson.
I'm Weird Al.
I'm Florence Henderson.
You're watching.
And 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 you lucky people are watching
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News. You're watching Cougar News.
And I'm a cougar.
Stay tuned.
Before families gathered around the dinner table to give thanks by enjoying turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and their favorite pie, many participated in a 5K race at COC on Thanksgiving morning. I was there to partake in the race. 100 people filled the COC Stadium this past Thanksgiving for the 6th annual Turkey Trot. The Turkey Trot is not only a 5K. It also supports the Bonnie Heck Think Well Foundation and COC's cross-country and track and field programs.
7 years ago, my mom was diagnosed with brain cancer, and so we decided to do a little fundraiser, and we selected Thanksgiving Day and decided to do a turkey trot.
People of all ages came from around the community to participate.
I'm doing this for a little while, so it's nice to wait it for a change. I ran it, I think, in 16:45. Well, it wasn't that bad. It was a little tough on the hills, but I'm used to being able to run the hills like that, so it wasn't that bad.
This is the first year we do the turkey trot, yeah. We typically run a lot together, and we thought it would be a good idea to burn off some of the calories before we eat them. We've done marathons and halves and 5Ks. And
It was a great turnout for what is usually a lazy holiday. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Heather Harbin. And now we have Matt Robinson here to tell us all about how the latest sports have been going.
How you guys doing?
It's a great week. Tell us about it.
It's a very great week. We're going to start out on the trail, though. COC men's and women's cross country capped off an incredible season at the state championship meet. The men won the school's second state championship in the sport, and its first since 1975, outlasting three-time defending state champs from American River College, while the women put on a good performance as well, placing second in the meet, just behind Mount Sac College. We recently had a chance to catch up with Lindy Kane. She told us a little bit more about the season.
Returners that were part of our WSC championship men's team from last year as well. And then on the women's side, Dominique Dow returning as an All-American from last season. And the goal from the very beginning was to win conference, win regionals, and win state. And that never changed.
With the men's victory, Coach Kane became the first female coach to win the CCCAA men's state title. Grant Stromberg, Dominique Dow, and Shaylin Mabrito each earned JC All-American honors. Heading over to soccer now, COC women's soccer hosted its second-round playoff matchup against Cypress College, looking to get out of the second round for the first time since in the last 3 seasons. We head out to Cougar Stadium now, and the girls would be tied after the first half, early second half. Cypress would score on a PK opportunity, but COC would get one right back and tie the game as we'd head to a penalty kick shootout eventually, tied at 3-3. The teams would trade goals on their first 2 penalty kick opportunities, and that would set up Caitlin Martinez for the Cougars. She'd make a huge stop and try and let COC get a lead, but they could not capitalize. And that would eventually set up Cypress, who would score on their next 2 opportunities, leaving the Cougars down by 2, needing a goal, with Taylor Schiamenti coming up, but she couldn't keep the game alive as she was stopped, as Cypress would win 3-3 in PKs. We talked to head coach Justin London after the game about the season.
Very gutsy performance. They showed a lot of heart out there, and short of winning the national championship, I mean that's the way you want to go out, because they left everything on the table. They can't sit there and think there's something that we could have done different. They gave everything they had.
Staying out on the pitch, despite not making the playoffs this season, the COC men's soccer team had 5 players earn all-conference honors. Freshman Oscar Sanchez and Chris Tumasone, as well as sophomore Juan Camacho, were given WSC first-team honors, while freshman Omar Navarro and sophomore Jesus Pescador picked up the second-team honors. This is the 3rd year in a row the Cougars have had 5 players named to the all-conference teams. With winter coming, COC basketball is gearing up for its 2014-2015 seasons. The women's basketball team comes in looking to improve on their 7-5 WSC record from last year. They will have a tough task, though, after losing 2 of their stronger players from the previous season, but head coach Greg Herrick feels that this season's team is more of a balanced unit.
I mean, they're accepting their roles a little more readily than maybe a year ago, and they're excited about the prospects. We've got off to a pretty good start, and the enthusiasm in practice is really good, so we'll have to see.
Lady Cougars' next game is December 12th versus LA Trade Tech College at Moorpark College. On the men's side of the court, the Cougars are looking to continue their momentum they built from last season after a second-place conference finish. The team will boast a group of fresh faces this year, something that has head coach Howard Fisher feeling extremely positive coming into the 2014-15 campaign.
I think they're going to play hard every game. The season is relative. I think we have an opportunity to win a lot of games as long as we stay within the structure of what we do offensively and defensively.
The team will play away this weekend in the San Jacinto Kiwanis tournament. A couple more notes from the COC fall sports season. The COC women's golf team finished up their excellent season with a second-place finish in the state championship tournament. The Cougars finished just 3 strokes behind College of the Desert for the state title, and all 6 women were named to the all-conference team, with Tiffany Whitaker earning all-state honors for the Cougars. Over to COC women's volleyball now, where the volleyball team rallied off 17 straight wins heading into the playoffs, winning back-to-back conference titles and earning the number 9 seed in the SoCal Regional Tournament. After a first-round victory, the women lost for the second time this year to the number 1 team in Southern California, Irvine Valley College, effectively knocking them out of the playoffs. The women still earned plenty of hardware, though, as they had 6 athletes named to the all-conference team, while Serena LeDuff was named Conference Co-Player of the Year, and Lisa Hooper was named Co-Coach of the Year. Off to the high school gridiron now, where Hart was the final Foothill League team remaining in the CIF West Valley Division's playoffs. The Indians played host to the #1 Baseline League team from Upland. We head back out to Cougar Stadium, where the Indians would come out fired up, but it would be Hart that would be ready to go, Upland that would be ready to go first, as they'd get a touchdown early in the game by Josh Woods, a 1-yard TD run, to make it 7-0. 14-0 now Upland when Brady White connects with Trenton Irwin to make it 14-7, but Upland would come right back as they would run one in from 1 yard out again to make it 21-7. Later on now, Brady White trying to get his team back into it. Pass downfield picked off by Upland, one of 5 interceptions White threw on the day. This one goes for a touchdown as Upland takes a 28-7 lead. Later in the game, Hart still trying to get back into it as White finds Irwin this time in the back of the end zone for the second touchdown connection of the day to make it 28-14. But it would be all Upland as they'd run for 259 yards and 5 touchdowns, winning the game 52-21. Finally, have you ever wondered how the X Games motocross tracks and freestyle jumps are built? Well, COC Cougar News' Kimberly Pressler has given us the inside track on what it takes.
Santa Clarita resident Dane Herron was born and raised in the San Diego suburbs of El Cajon. He grew up playing in the dirt, riding motorbikes, and eventually got into construction. But never did he think combining his passion for these 3 things would lead him to his dream job. That is, until ESPN came calling.
There is absolutely nothing like this anywhere else in the freestyle motocross world.
It's huge, but it's got great flow, so the line options are endless.
I got into this many years ago, riding dirt bikes with my friends and being in the construction business and just grabbing a piece of equipment where I could find one and building what we wanted to build or fixing what we wanted to fix. Before I know it, ESPN was calling, the X Games was kicking off, and they needed somebody to build things for their qualifiers, and that was it. They called, I delivered, and the rest is history.
Since then, Dane's dream job has not only taken him around the world sculpting and creating dirt masterpieces for X Games, but also for Red Bull X Fighters, Dew Tour, LG Action Sports, and even the U.S. Olympic Training Facility.
ESPN.com has called Dane and his course designs the gold standard in freestyle motocross. But what most may not know is that he's played an intricate part in some of the most recognized long distance and specialized jumps the world has ever seen.
With my business, not only do I design and build dirt bike parks, but we've been involved in some of the largest special event projects on the planet. It's been a perfect mix, you know, me designing and building these large features, these world record jumps, and then making sure these athletes get to their goals. I can truly sit down and say that I absolutely 200% love what I do, love the people I work with, and get to travel the world doing it. So I'm living the dream job.
For your Cougar News Spotlight, I'm Kimberly Pressler.
Well, thank you, Matt. It's been a pleasure having you this semester.
Thanks, guys. Always fun.
Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you later, guys. Stay classy, Santa Clarita.
The 12th Annual Festival of Trees helps raise money for the Boys and Girls Club by auctioning Christmas trees during the holiday season. Christiane Campbell shares more.
The Festival of Trees celebrated their 12th annual year of fundraising for the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Clarita Valley. Barbara Morris, volunteer and foundation board member for the Girls and Boys Club, explains the benefits of this fundraiser.
The proceeds benefit the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Clarita Valley. We have 2 facilities, 2 clubhouses, one in Newhall, one in Canyon Country, and the proceeds support the various programs and services that the club offers. We have a really wide variety of trees here at the festival. We have some that are very traditional, normal-looking trees, beautifully decorated, however. And then we have some themed trees as well. Like we have a pirate tree, we have a Frozen tree from the movie Frozen, we have a Star Wars tree, all kinds of different fun trees, as well as some very traditional ones.
I asked Barbara what was the most unusual entry this year.
A stack of pumpkins. It's reminiscent of the movie from Nightmare Before Christmas. and it's covered with snow and pumpkins in the snow. We also have over 100 gingerbread houses that were created by people throughout the community. Nancy Olmos from Clarice's Cakes every year donates the houses themselves, and then people come into her shop and do workshops where they take them home and they decorate them. And we've got a variety of tabletop trees as well. About 20 different tabletop trees. In addition to that, all of the high schools have created their own tree, designed their own tree, and brought that to the festival to sell as well.
If you are interested in becoming involved with the Festival of Trees,
call the foundation office at 661-254-3063.
And that's Christiane Kimberlin for Cougar News.
Magic is up in the air in Saugus. Here is Ashley Pagan for a little tease to get your Christmas spirit rolling.
It is that time of year to go to Wakefield Court Candy Cane Lane in Saugus to see the magic of Christmas spirit throughout the entire street. Located off of Copper Hill ever since 1994, the residents have teamed together to make the magic happen. Residents of Wakefield start to decorate right after Halloween. Hundreds of people come every year and never leave without the Christmas spirit. Lights streamed house to house, large carousels, gingerbread houses, and lights decorated as your favorite sports teams are just a few teasers that bring Christmas magic onto Wakefield Court. Go out any night to experience the magic of Christmas. Make sure you go before December 26th.
Don't forget to tune into next week's show for Ashley's full story on Candy Cane Lane. That does it for this edition of Cougar News. I'm Aldo Canepa. You can check us out on the web at cougarnews.com.
And I'm Heather Harbin. Remember, you can send us news tips and story ideas to our Twitter handle at @COC_Cougar News. Thanks for stopping by.